Welcome to the Sports Betting Preview Podcast from pregame.com. This is Marco D'Angelo, your host, 30 years in the business, joined by Vegas runner, professional sports bettor here in Las Vegas, and the only professional sports bettor featured on the CNBC.
Thank you.
Special One Sports Gambling. Do you think I got enough out of that?
Thank you.
Okay. This is segment 6 of 6. Big game preview. We're going to do the Champs Sports Bowl, and it is Wisconsin versus Miami of Florida. As we do all the time, let's go to the man in the streets, Vegas runner.
Okay, this one's in Orlando, Florida, so it's not a home game for Miami, but definitely an advantage, although Wisconsin known to travel well. We know that from Vegas because they come out here to play UNLV, and I mean, it's cheeseheads galore in this city for the 3-4 days. Forget about it.
Do they go to the strip clubs with the cheesehead hats on when they come out here?
Yeah, some do, dude. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. There's some proud people in Wisconsin. This one's an interesting game. You got two 9-3 teams, but Wisconsin's 25th in the BCS. Miami's 15th in the BCS. This line opened up Miami only 1.5 with the total of 56.5. And right away, we saw money come in on Miami. As of today, it's gone above the key number of 3. It's at 3.5, and the total's up to 58. So now we're seeing significant move on the Miami side, going above that key number of 3. But what I want to stress is that when it comes to bowl games, there's so much money bet that they're more prone to come off a key number than any other time. And we've seen that already. They've gone through some key numbers, through some key totals, because like I said, there's a lot of money bet on these games, and they're not going to keep taking a hit at 3 and adjusting juice. They're going to move the number.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but my feeling on that, why they'll do that, is even though this thing is, like you said, has moved through that key number of 3, these lines were posted so early that they get some bet money, but
Right.
they don't get really a ton of big money because the games, when they first put the lines out, there may be almost a month before the game's played. There could be suspensions.
Exactly.
Weather
right.
conditions.
And not that you hit it right on the head, and I know where you're going with that, and you're 100% right. As a runner, we did not take big positions early on bowl games. You're absolutely right. That you, from your knowledge of following lines and stuff, you picked that up. That's awesome. That's true. We did not take big positions on sides, and sometimes not even on totals. On totals more because, especially when games were in a dome or in good weather cities, you could take advantage if the total was way off. Right. But as far as sides, so much could happen. Like you said, with injuries, with suspensions, if you take too big of a position, you might be stuck with it and not be able to get off it. And that's why we wouldn't. And that's why you're absolutely right. The late money is so much more important than the early money.
I think more than anything, more than injuries, I think it seems like every year there's always 1 or 2 teams that gets hit.
That 5-6 guys screw up. Yeah,
because I mean, let's face it,
they're out drinking, partying.
These are college kids. They're on the road. A bowl game is, in essence, even though this is big business, a bowl game is in essence a bonus for you, a vacation for you.
Yeah, it's their prize. It's their prize.
It's what you worked all year for.
Sure.
And most of these bowl games take place between,
winning's the cherry on top.
Yeah, between Christmas and New Year's, probably the biggest party week for 20-year-olds.
They're done their finals too. I mean, come on.
Yeah, things happen. But getting down to this game, nuts and bolts, we have a situation that you've got Wisconsin, Big Ten school. Big Ten schools have not fared well in recent years.
Get
in
no
the bowls.
respect.
So I think that's why you're seeing some of the early line movement where people are going to they're going to bet blindly against the Big Ten.
And just on ranking alone, you see the 15th team in the nation playing around the corner from their home against the 25th team. That alone should warrant at least 3.5, 4. I was surprised when it opened up at 1.5. And I'm upset I didn't get down on that number, knowing that I'd at least have a 3-4 point middle by kickoff. I mean, because we always stress to our followers, always look to work middles, always look to work hedges, always look to scalp games. You know, it's a market. Work it like a market. And this is one of them games you could have definitely done that. I think they are, though, a little different 9-3 teams. The biggest thing that stuck out to me, once again, is strength of schedule. Miami played one of the most difficult schedules in the country. 16th, as according to Bob Sagarin, who I follow for strength of schedule. He's very good with that. And Wisconsin, 71st. So, I mean, they had a pretty easy schedule, which they played in the Big Ten, and that's what you'd expect. Right. They don't get the respect. They're a weaker conference nowadays than they were. And more surprising, this Miami team went 9-3 with a sophomore quarterback. I mean, you know, they had an impressive season. They outperformed what anyone's expectations coming in were.
No question, and that's my point. Even though Miami's fallen off the national prominence level the last few years, they're making their way back. They had a good year, but how exciting is it to go to the Champs Sports Bowl? They don't leave the state. And I know there's a lot of people that say, oh, okay, they're playing in the same state, so they're going to have the crowd advantage. I don't know that is such an advantage for a big school to not leave the state. I mean, this is supposed to be a reward for the kids.
Yeah, for a great season.
So I'm going to question motivation on the Miami side. I will say both teams come into the bowl game on a roll. They both won 4 of their last 5 games. There's one stat that I have here that really sticks out like a sore thumb, and it's a big negative to Wisconsin. They just don't play many games on grass. And over the last 3 years, they've played 12 times on grass. They're only 2-10 against the spread. So that's something of a concern in this game.
They are a dog in this one, and they were probably a dog in most of them because they were on the road, correct?
Correct. Motivation, I think you've got a huge motivational edge on the Wisconsin side, and here's why. I already said about Florida not leaving, Miami not leaving the state of Florida. Wisconsin got blown out last year against an ACC team.
Yeah.
Florida State drilled them last year.
Destroyed them.
I like to look at teams that lost in bowls last year, especially if it was an embarrassing loss, because they don't want. Who wants to go to the bowl?
Especially when they have a lot of returning players too that were in that game.
So you got some motivation for Wisconsin. I think that might get them here. I think you've got the public perception factor. I think we're getting a benefit on the line, and I think the line's only going to go higher.
I agree.
Closer to game day. And again, we're taping on Wednesday, so this game's a full week out before the game's played. Myself, I've got a lean here. No official play for me on this game, but right now I've got a lean to Wisconsin plus the points.
I like that side a little. My lean was coming in, and this was going to be the free pick. My lean until we closed Houston while taping. I'll give you this. I like the over. Because you look at these two teams and you think Wisconsin and you think Miami and you think defense. But when you break down their seasons, these teams scored some points. Wisconsin's 21st in NCAA football in scoring this year. Miami, 27th in scoring. So both these teams could put up points. And that's why I think we saw the wise guys jump on 56.5 right away. I made my true line 60 for this game. Wow. So I think there's still value here. Okay. I think this line is going to climb. I wouldn't be surprised if it went off at 60, 61. So I got a strong lean to the over, and I agree with you. I think the value's on the Wisconsin side.
There you have it. We've got Vegas Runner with a lean to the over. You've got Marco D'Angelo with a lean to Wisconsin. Neither one of those are our official free picks for this podcast. That's going to wrap up another great show. We'll be back next week. It'll be New Year's week next week. We'll be preparing for New Year's Eve. This will be my first New Year's Eve in Las Vegas.
Oh boy!
So we'll have some excitement, maybe some stories on our show this week in Vegas. This is Marco D'Angelo.
Merry Christmas.
He's Vegas Runner. Hope you guys have a happy holiday. We'll be back next week. Best of luck with all of your selections.